Hi guys, um, thank you so much for joining me for another video. For this video I'm going to be talking, so it's a little switch up from the other previous videos that I've recently posted. But the reason I am speaking in my video this time, and also just disclaimer, this video is going to be a little bit longer because I am speaking. I've been asked by quite a few of my friends and other people to help them transition into making a better, decision for themselves, getting into yoga, starting to treat themselves better. So they wanted some easier beginner poses so that they can kind of have a smoother transition into, when I do later videos of like harder stuff. So what I'm mainly going to be doing is focusing on beginner poses, and we're all going to also be focusing on our breathing, and we also need to be focusing on what our constant form is in this very present right now. So we need to be mindful about how our body is speaking to us. And I also want to tell you guys, you don't have to do it exactly like me. I feel like there's such a misconception that the first time you do yoga, you have to be exactly how the picture looks, or you saw a poster with the Buddha on it and some crazy person doing a pose in Five and Below, and that's what that is. No, yoga is, yes, a really good thing for your body because it helps you physically, but it also helps you spiritually. It also helps you emotionally. It helps you regain a sense of yourself and your spirit that maybe you have lost, or maybe you didn't lose anything, but you're just trying to enhance yourself to become your better or best version of you. And for all of those things, you don't have to be perfect. So if any of these poses are difficult for you, do not do them. We do not want you to hurt yourself, okay? So we're gonna get started. So the main pose that I'm going to start with you today, it's very easy, it's very simple. It's called mountain pose. You want to keep your legs, feet closer together, but not all the way together, just a little bit spread apart. You want to have your arms reached out to the side where your palms are facing outwards. This is called mountain pose. In this pose, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe deeply 4 times. So what a deep breath for me is that we're going to inhale, we're going to hold it for 3 seconds, and then we're going to exhale. In this moment, in this present moment where you are with your form and who you are, I want you to imagine yourself when you're inhaling all of your positivity, all of your affirmations, all of the confidence that you need for yourself. I need a lot of confidence. So I'm going to imagine all of the energy, all of the goodness inhaling into my body and going throughout me. Now, when you exhale, I want you to think of all of the negativity that you hold, pent up inside you, whether it be in one day, most of your life, you're really, really stressed. I want you to think of all of the negative things, all of the self-doubt, all of the shame that you feel, the guilt. I want you to release it from yourself when you exhale so that you can see this energy coming out of you, okay? So here in mountain pose, we're gonna breathe deeply 4 times, and we're going to begin. Ready? 1, 2. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Breathe in all of your positivity, all of your love, all of your light, all of the things that you want to attract to yourself. Breathe it in. Hold it. Exhale all of the negativity, all of the stuff that's built up inside you, all of your stress, all of your anxiety. Push it out. One more breath. Now, I don't know about you guys, but those always make me feel better. So this is not the pose that I usually start in. What I usually do is I stand at the edge of my mat and I take my breaths in a different kind of motion. However, the next pose that I'm going to be showing you is a very popular pose. Most people will know it even if you don't do yoga. It's called downward dog. But to get into that position, I usually do a forward fold just to stretch myself before I can get into that position. And also it's easier to transition from a fold into downward dog than it is to just go straight from right here to downward dog. Okay? So a forward fold, you're just going to bring your feet, not all the way together, but a little bit apart, probably about 4 inches. Not as wide as your shoulders. You're going to breathe constantly throughout your poses. You do not want to hold in your breath. So you'll breathe, reach up, exhale and fold over. If you cannot touch the mat, completely okay. If you can only get here to your ankles, maybe just your tips of your fingers, that's fine. We're all doing this at our own different pace. So do not feel like you have to be an expert right away. So we're going to hold this for about 10 seconds. Okay, so from here, we're going to go to downward dog. And I just walk my hands out. And then I reposition my feet and my hips. So you want to bring your feet out to about shoulder width apart. You want your hands to be planted about the same width as like same amount apart as your feet are. I can't get it out, I'm sorry. You want to feel like your butt is at its most high and your back is straight. You don't want your elbow, like your shoulders, to be up here by your ears. You don't want to feel like your elbows are overextending themselves, putting pressure on your wrists into the ground. You want to be able to put your heels all the way down. But I've been stretching a lot recently, so I'm getting closer to be able to be more and more comfortable with my heel all the way down. So, if you're here, or you're here, or here, it's completely fine. We're going to stay in this for 10 seconds. Straight back, shoulders down, not putting pressure. And from here, we're going to go into what is called a high lunge. So you're going to pick a leg, kick it back, bring it forward into between your hands. And then you can turn your back leg to where your foot is horizontal. It's called a high lunge. And you'll stay in this so that it stretches out your inner thighs, gives you a good stretch for your hip on the one side. You stay here for 10 seconds. Great. Back to downward dog, and then when you're comfortable enough, you kick the leg back, bring it up. Move that foot back to being horizontal and stretch as best as you can. Leaning into your lunge so that you feel the stretch. Here, here in your hip, here for your leg down. Okay. So, what we're going to do next, you want to bring your legs out more than shoulder width apart, and whichever leg you're going to lead with, I'm going to lead with my right. I don't know how that looks for you, but this is my right. So I'm going to point my foot directly vertical, and my back foot is going to be horizontal. This is going to be called triangle pose. Now, triangle pose, you want to lean over with your arms outstretched and your hand palm out on the inside of your ankle, feeling the stretch here within your inner thigh, down into your leg. You want to feel as though you're being pulled up. Remember the energy I was talking to you about when you're breathing? We want to keep that in mind. Our palms are out so that we can receive and give the energy that we want. So, whew. Great. So then you switch. So the next leg you point forward, your back leg you do horizontal. Bring your arms up. Bring it to where your hand, palm is outwards outside of the inside of your ankle, and you're getting this good stretch here in your thigh. And like I said, remember, with each of your breaths, I know you're worried about finding your pose right and which way is gonna feel good for me, but you need to breathe. Breathing is the most important part. The next pose that we're gonna do is a little bit more difficult, but it's not extremely difficult. It's more difficult for me only because I'm working on my balance right now. So you will see me struggle. It's gonna be called tree pose. So what you'll do is you'll pick a leg and you will bring your foot, grab it by the ankle and bring it up as high as you possibly can. If you can only make it here, if you can only make it to your knee, to here, to find your balance, that's okay. But I'm an overachiever, so I always try to do the most, which is contradicting advice, but I've been working on this for a little while. So I want to see if I can stand here in this pose. Almost made it. I just want to get 10 seconds of it. Don't forget your breathing. I made it. And then you do the same exact one on your right leg. So remember, you don't have to bring it up as high as I am. Here is fine against your knee. Here against your calf. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. Okay? So let's see what I can do for this one. Hopefully my progress is getting better. I'm still a little wobbly, but I made it. So that's a really, really good pose for helping stretch your hips as well. But most of all, for you to help practice your balance. So if you're starting here, it's great, but you still gotta have a really good balance. You wanna make sure that your foot, you're not putting too much pressure on the balls of your feet, you're not putting too much pressure on your heel, the side, the instep. You wanna make sure that you're dispersing your weight evenly so that you can balance properly, okay? Great. So, downward dog is a good transitional pose in between other poses. So, we're gonna go down into downward dog only because our next few poses are gonna be on the floor. And it's easier to get down there with downward dog. So, walk our hands out, spread our feet just a little bit wider, get to where our back is straight and our shoulders are down, not by our ears, not putting pressure unnecessarily in any joint, making sure that you're dispersing your weight evenly. Okay, from here, we're gonna go into plank. Bring your feet closer together. Bring your shoulders above your hands, or your hands can be directly below your shoulders, but you want to make sure you have a straight back. We're not on circuit training, so we're not holding it for a minute or 30 seconds. We're doing 10, which is up. It's always the hardest for me, but it is good for strengthening your core, which is something that you really need to have good strength in to be able to do a lot of poses that are more difficult. So from plank, we're gonna bend back, dip down to push our head all the way back. And bring your legs down to the floor. You're gonna feel a little bit of pressure in your wrists, only because when you initially dive down and bring your neck up, you're gonna be stretching yourself. You're gonna feel it all in your stomach, chest, neck, and your shoulders. So if you're feeling a lot of pressure, make sure you're not overextending your arms. Bring it back so that you can not have so much pressure. Awesome. So, the next pose that we're gonna do is called cat-cow. Cat-cow is a two-part pose, so it's moving. So you want to bring yourself to a tabletop. You're on your knees. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Your cow is pushing your stomach inwards and bringing your head up. Imagining as if there's a thread that's connected to your belly and it's pulling you down into the earth so that you really get that arch down into your back. This helps stretch, again, your torso, your chest, neck muscles, shoulders. Cat is bringing your spine up, rolling it all the way out, as if the thread that was connected to the belly is now connected to your spine, and it's pulling you up into infinity. So, I usually do 3 of those. We go cow, cat, so, our next pose is a similar, very, very easy pose. It's called staff. And what you'll do is you'll bring your feet in front of you. You can either point your toes if you want. You can put them straight if that's what feels comfortable for you. Bring your arms and hands down to the sides of your hips. Straight back, lower shoulders. I'm a person who carries my stress in my shoulders, so I'm usually like this a lot. So you want to relax to bring your chest out, straighten your back. Be mindful of your breathing, breathing in your positivity and exhaling your negativity. Great. Simple as that. Staff pose. So, my next pose is another forward fold. It's just a seated forward fold. What you're gonna do is reach down and grab the bottoms of your feet. If you cannot grab the bottoms of your feet, and you can only get here to your shin or to your ankle, completely fine. Nobody's judging you. You do it the way it feels comfortable for you. We're gonna do forward fold for 10 seconds. Great. That's good for your lower back and your butt stretching and stretching the backs of your legs. So, the pose that we're gonna do from here, since our legs are already out, is gonna be called the seated twist. And what you'll do is I'm gonna take my right leg and I'm gonna put my right foot right beside my left knee. And then I'm going to take my left elbow and put it behind my right knee and push backwards. Not necessarily pushing. You don't have to feel like you're gonna bring yourself off your mat. You want to make sure that your hips are square and you're still seated. Just enough stretch so that you can feel it in your hip here. Let me do this side first. So, Bring your elbow over. This arm is for support. You're feeling all of this stretch here. For our 10 seconds. Next leg, same thing. Bring your leg over, elbow behind your knee, arm back here supporting you, getting that stretch in your hip. Great. So, I have my reference to the side of me. Another good pose that we can do is called cobbler's pose. That's where you bring your feet to the middle of you, you join them together, and it is to see how close you can get your feet to your body. So I can bring my feet pretty close because I've been stretching a lot lately because I've been working out a lot more. So if your feet are here, out here, all I ask for you to do is try. You're gonna put your feet together, get your hands to grab your ankles, elbows on your knees, and push down and come forward as if you're folding like a forward fold, okay? That's gonna help you stretch your hips here, but also stretching your inner thigh here. Now for me, since I can bring my feet closer, I still push down on my knees only to get more of a stretch. And then you can brace your hands over your feet and kind of pull down, or I guess pull yourself. Try and pull yourself without moving your feet. And you can feel the stretch in your shoulders and your neck. I like to do that because, like I said, I carry a lot of stress in my neck and shoulders. So I can rotate them and get a good stretch while also stretching myself here. Great. So our next pose is going to be called Happy Baby. I know it sounds funny, but what you're going to do is you're going to lay on your back and you're going to bring your knees to your chest with your feet up as if it's a tabletop with your feet. So more like a coffee table. And then you're going to bring your knees out and grab the bottoms of your feet and push down. You don't have to push hard, just enough so that you can feel the stretch here in your hamstring and in your lower butt, so that you can get this stretch here. Also, you'll feel it in your hips a little bit as well. Great. So since we're here laying on our back already, we're gonna do what's called the it's a pigeon pose, but it's a different kind of pigeon pose, and I've forgotten the name of it, so I apologize. What you're gonna do is you're gonna bring your leg up into a 90-degree angle, and then you're gonna take your opposite leg and bring your foot and place it behind your knee. And then you're gonna take your hands, go through the hole of your legs, and grasp the back of the leg that your foot is pressing against. And then you want to pull so that you get also a nice deep stretch here in your hip and your butt and your thigh. Like I said, if any of this hurts, you do not have to do it. You only want to do what your body is telling you to. You need to listen to what your body is trying to get you to understand. So, another really great pose that I love a lot because it stretches your lower back. It is called child's pose. I do child's pose 2 different ways. I do it where you're here sitting on your legs, your knees are together, and that's when you're gonna fold over, reach your hands out like your hands have little tiny strings and they're being pulled off into the universe. And bring your forehead down to your mat, like this. Now, the second way that I do it that gives you like a little bit more is I spread my knees wider and then I fold down. And that just gives you like a deeper stretch. So, we'll do them both ways. First with our legs together. This is what you should look like here sitting on your legs. You want to reach out. Focusing on your breath. Now I'm gonna do my second where I bring my legs out further and then reach out. So, another really great pose, which sounds terrible, but it's really nice. People don't often think of it as a pose, but it's called corpse pose, and that sounds a little morbid, but what we're gonna basically be doing is laying with our hands outstretched here and our feet pointing and our hands reaching. Giving our bodies the breaths that we need. Inhaling our positivity and exhaling our negativity. Being mindful of what your body is telling you. If one part aches, rest. Do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. Awesome. Okay, so I have reached the end of my beginner poses. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you guys to join me for just a minute or so of deep breathing. You can cross your legs. I would advise you to be in this, or I would recommend you be in this pose. This pose is just seated cross legs with your hands, palms open. You see Buddha in this pose a lot. You see a lot of yogis in this pose. If you see a lot of posters or images of yoga, this is a very common pose because this pose is structured so that you can spend time with yourself, not only physically, but like I said, spiritually, mentally. You're here for yourself. So this is the time for you to be breathing in your positivity, letting go of your negativity, letting go of bad habits. You feel like if there's something weighing you down, this is the time to help yourself think of a way to let it go. So, like I said, we're gonna breathe in, hold, and exhale. Breathe in our positivity, our love, our light, all of the things that we want to attract to ourselves, and breathe out of our negativity, our shame, our guilt, our low self-esteem, our self-doubt. Those are the things you want to let go of because they don't serve you in your higher purpose. So I'm going to talk through our inhales and exhales for the first 3, and then I just want you to simply breathe with me while we're here together, okay? So inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. One more time. Inhale, hold, exhale. Okay guys, I appreciate you spending your time here with me today, morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. I hope that it's good for you. Thank you so much to anybody and everyone who requested me do this video. I really appreciate your support, and thank you so much for keeping on encouraging me throughout my journey of finding my better self and best version of me. And that's what I hope to help you guys do, for encouraging you to become your better self and your better version. So if you would like more videos of me explaining different poses or doing a certain pose that you feel like you're not comfortable with, or you want my insight on how I got into yoga or how I feel about how it's transformed me or helped me through different times, let me know. I can say thank you so much for watching this, and I love you guys, and my light sees your light. Thank you so much.